The brand new 2-minute land acknowledgement
Okay, let's watch.
compliments of Toronto City Hall, of course. Um,
Let's watch.
yes, sorry in advance.
We'll now turn it over to our Vice Chair, Lucina, to share the land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Morley. I wish to honor the innumerable ways African ancestral languages, spiritualities, knowledge systems, and kinship ties survive in the lives of Black people here in Toronto and around the world. I further situate our work in a global context. Decolonizing movements and struggles for racial, economic, and cultural justice are active across continents, from community land reparations and cultural resurgence to transnational solidarity with migrants, refugees, and peoples resisting extractive and imperial violences. These movements remind us that confronting anti-Black racism must be a practice that listens to global and local histories of resistance and that centers reparative, community-led change. I offer this acknowledgement to root our work in transformational policy and wide relations so that dignity, safety, and belonging in our city is not conditional. Although we are in different locations, the Confronting Anti-Black Racism Advisory Committee acknowledges the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. We honor the treaties and responsibilities that endure here, and we name that these lands were taken and held through processes of colonization that continue to shape daily life. I will turn it back over to Deputy Mayor Morley.
Thank you so much, Lucina. The City of Toronto acknowledges all treaty peoples, including those who came here as settlers, as migrants, either in this generation or in generations past, and those of us who came here involuntarily, particularly those brought to these lands as a result of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery. We pay tribute to our ancestors of African origin and descent.
I didn't even realize that Toronto had an anti-Black racism committee.
As soon as I saw that, my soul left my body, and it was just hovering above me. Yeah.
The city is in complete disarray, and this is the kind of priorities that City Council has. This is craziness.
We didn't have slavery here. People fled slavery to here. Actually, I'm not being accurate. There was slavery here. Indigenous tribes would capture slaves from each other, which the Catholic Church very much frowned upon when they were doing their missionary work here. And in fact, the peace between the warring tribes here in Alberta was brokered by a Catholic missionary here, Wetaskiwin.
Don't
it
forget
means the hills where peace was made.
Anyway, just craziness.
These people.
Canada had the Underground Railroad.
Right. People fled slavery to here.
Yes. They fled through the Underground Railroad from the southeastern states into Canada for freedom. Do we ever talk about, I mean, I learned about the Underground Railroad in school. Are the schools just not teaching that anymore because it doesn't fit the agenda? I'm on the Toronto City page, Confronting Anti-Black Racism, and it's just as ridiculous as you would think. And they have a whole 5-year action plan. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into this rabbit hole because I'm sure there's a lot here, but just no wonder the city of Toronto is in complete disarray.
Exactly. We don't do this sort of stuff here. We don't pretend that we had slavery here, at least in Alberta. In fact, we celebrate John Ware. He was a Black cowboy. And right now there's archaeological research being done into his ranch. So this was a place of, like, I'm sure, different people in different times, but mostly if you were able to just work hard, we kind of didn't actually care where you came from. And I wish other places of this country were more like that. But Toronto wants to do this segregationist thing. It feels like we're going backwards, right?
Right. Yeah, it feels like we're actually highlighting and promoting racism rather than the opposite.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of beating a dead
It's
horse.
just so exhausting. It's got to be exhausting to live your life like that. Like to
just a perpetual state of oppression and victimhood.
No thanks.
No thanks.
No thanks. Do they do actually any work down there at the Anti-Black Racism Committee, or is it just like they just proclaim their victimhood all over the place?
Yeah, and acknowledge various, like, I mean, even refugee and asylum. I mean, this is a demographic that is scamming and scheming. Not all of them, granted,
right,
but has been exploited exponentially in recent years, and the government is quite, I mean, taking action, or at least virtue signaling that they're starting to maybe recognize and acknowledge that there's an issue here, and have these people including that now in their land acknowledgement, victimhood, virtue signal. That's just so much more than I've ever witnessed before. There was a tidbit of it that was actually at the Toronto, at the Cenotaph during Remembrance Day, they did say part of that one acknowledgement of the slavery part and refugees and immigrants. And that was the first time I'd ever heard anything like that coinciding with a land acknowledgement. And we see the way that land acknowledgements are playing out now. They're actually coming for the land.
It just makes my psychological battery go like right down to the bottom, because it's so nonsensical. Like the one thing that they said there was people who came here against their will. Okay, let's help you go back. Can I help you go back? That's a problem we can solve real fast. If you don't want to be here, happy to help. Happy to help. Anyway.
What about all those that did come here through the Underground Railroad and were freed and lived a great life? I mean, what, do they not bring anything to the table here?
No, I guess not.
Let's forget about that, because we are all oppressed and we need to be victims, and give us more money. We just need more of the money, Sheila.
That's what this is about.
Yeah.
The oppression industry is just about
give us
money, my money to them. That's what it's all about.